we are.
I'm like trying to wake up. I just had a long day.
Hard to have long days, you know?
Oh, yeah.
Well,
My eyes are watering.
Well, now your back's going to hurt.
Oh, man. I played in Chilled Coffee the other day.
Are we starting?
I think so.
All right. This is the Shaw Brothers podcast. Go ahead. Go ahead.
I don't like intros.
Well, we don't have to have one. I just at least let people know who we are.
1, 2, go.
Gotta let somebody know who we are.
1, go.
Played in Chilled Coffee. How was that?
It's good. Have you played at that Paper City coffee place yet?
I have not. I have actually not even... Well, I knew about it, but I haven't...
It's
didn't know
right
they were
next
doing
to
music.
Steiner's, but...
Oh, yeah, okay.
And Tara did announce that she's done.
Yeah, she sold her place. Our good friend Tara.
Did she actually sell it?
She sold it to somebody local. I'm not sure who the person is, but... So it is officially sold.
So there's a place next to it called the it's called Paper City Coffee, but it's also called The Page. It's like their night cocktail bar.
So it kind of opens up into that?
Mm-hmm. It's
That's
cool.
Great vibe.
Nice place.
That's
really
great.
cool. All really old school building, you know.
Yeah.
Historical. Nice people. There was not very many people there when I played.
Bummer. Well, sucks
Common.
that you had to take all their money, so they can't stay open.
They closed immediately. Actually,
Jeez.
I was playing at the airport on
like
Thursday morning,
Yeah.
and the woman saw my name because I have a little placard, whatever. And she was like, are you playing? You're playing in Chilled Coffee tonight? I'm like, yeah. She's like, that's my bar.
Oh. Who is it?
I don't know her name, but she sold it that day, literally.
Wow.
So the day... Then,
She was like, Chris Shaw's coming in. I got to sell this place.
basically. So I guess that they handed it over to
man.
There were a wife, two wife and husbands. Two husbands, whatever.
Two husbands
Two
and
couples.
a wife?
Two couples.
Two husbands and one wife? Is this like some kind of like Mormon thing? No,
Yeah, it's a Mormon thing.
I don't know.
So they sold it. But yeah, anyway, really cool place. Shout out to Chilled Coffee.
Awesome.
Good staff, cool people. Sorry I took your money.
Yeah, we tend to do that.
It's hard. It's hard to play out of town. I just kind of assumed that they would have a little bit of a crowd, but I should never assume that.
Yeah, you know,
I try to reach out.
Assumption.
Try to reach out to some people, but I don't have any friends. So.
Yeah, that's not true.
I haven't played in Chilled Coffee in like 2 years.
Yeah.
It was fun. It was
good.
nice. Chilled Coffee.
Yeah, we love Chilled Coffee. It's like second home musically, you know. It's like everybody used to think we're from there. Now they're like, you must have moved away. Like, no, we're still doing the same amount of gigs we were doing.
Never lived there.
No. Yeah, we never lived here, but...
A lot of good people down there.
A lot of great people, yeah. A lot of like really good, I guess, entrepreneurs or creatives and people like trying to move the city forward, I guess, which is awesome.
Yeah.
Old paper mill town. Yeah, there's a lot of cool stuff in Chillicothe.
It's
I
really
recommend it.
booming now.
Yeah, it's really beautiful down there too. It's kind of like that Hocking Hill, not quite the Hocking Hills, but it's that Appalachian, like foothills of the Appalachians. So it's you got all those nice rolling hills, and you've got the what's the
Tecumseh.
Tecumseh, yeah.
Right.
Remember that? We went to that.
Yeah,
when we were kids?
I don't remember going.
Yeah, I don't know if you.
Maybe I was little.
That was a long time ago. But
Yeah, I don't remember it. Remember the cross keys?
yeah, the old cross keys, man. Woo!
All I remember is Lori yelling at people.
Cut our teeth there for sure. That was
4-hour gigs.
4-hour gigs, but 4 hours of fun.
It was great.
Those are actually good days where there was like no stage. You're just kind of on the floor and people are like running into you constantly. Yeah, it's good.
Yeah.
Everybody has to have that experience. Yeah, they're still doing. I think they've renovated. I want to go in there because I think they renovated and I haven't been in for years, long time. But
I wonder if the 4-hour bar gig is going to die out.
Well, it hasn't yet because they're going to get as much out as they can sometimes.
Yeah, that's true.
3 hours is the way to go. But
yeah,
if you're doing a long format, but.
I mean, the other day they asked me, "You want to play 3 or 2?" I was like,
2.
I'll play 2. Why would I play 3?
Why would I don't want to play 3.
It was the same amount of money.
If I cannot play 3, I'll play.
Oh, this was fun. That was great. 2 was great. I love playing music, but
Yeah,
I'm the same amount of money.
100%.
But
well, what's going on in life? Anything else new, interesting, exciting?
well, I heard this concept from the old Jerry Seinfeld,
Okay.
Mr. what's his
Pop-Tarts.
Pop-Tart Zen Master Seinfeld. Yep. He said everybody in my high school was funny, and I just didn't. But then they all got jobs, and then I just didn't. I was like,
yeah,
that's totally what our life is.
Yes. Well,
that's funny.
I was talking. Okay, so
can relate.
I was talking to Pat McLaughlin, this awesome guy that runs this podcast I just was on, and he was super great to talk to because he was. We were kind of talking about my life and about music and stuff and my career and like how I got started and all that stuff. But I was telling him, I was like, being a musician is there's a lot of ego involved, but it's just as humbling as it is an ego trip, right? And for me, what I mean, for instance, like, growing up playing trumpet, that was like the only thing I was good at. I was so focused on that, and I was just so deep in. It made sense to me. I understood the language, and meanwhile, I'm getting a 2.0 GPA in high school. It's like I barely graduated because I was I knew what I wanted to do. I was so focused on that. But, it's like that kind of thing is the same thing. Like you take that forward and you're like, I'm caught up in this thing. This is what I want to do. Nothing else really mattered. It was hard to focus on things purely because I just wanted to get to the next gig, or the next whatever, band practice, or the next this, that, and the other. So it is interesting, but yeah, I see a lot of similarity in comedy in that way. It's like, that's what you do. You just like, you do your thing and you figure out a way to do it. And the people that are really passionate about it, they don't live in the fear of like,
it's not going to work out.
Yeah, you're always thinking, don't get me wrong, you're always thinking, am I good enough? I suck, what am I doing? Mm-hmm. But, that's kind of back of your head, but you quickly shut that off. You're like, I'm just going to focus on the do, I'm going to focus on the work and the things I can control. Yeah. I try to tell young people that today, at my open mic, and there was a guy out last night that we both know that was out last night asking me a lot of questions about my career. I'm just, I'm just trying to set up this open mic, man. Like he was like, give me advice and, you want to book me or all this stuff. I'm like, I'm doing this right now. Like I can't be here for that. That's cool. But point being is, I find it kind of astonishing and actually not astonishing, but kind of astonishing that so many working musicians haven't figured it out, even though they're making a living from it. And I feel like, I think that's like a kind of a common thread, but there's nobody out there that tells you, hey, this is how music and your music career is supposed to go. In other words, a music career is really hard because we start off as creatives, but we don't just become business people overnight. And we don't just become all of a sudden not only just a business person, but a person that is a business person that can be creative and a creative person that can be a business person, because those things have to work together. Yeah. And we don't just come that overnight. We don't become that overnight.
Well, there's no employees.
There's no employees. There's no syllabus. There's no rule book. There's no studying that. I'm not talking about studying your theory, your notes, all that.
It's very similar to comedy.
It is. There's nobody that teaches you that. Exactly. That's, and we talked about this actually on the podcast with Pat. He was talking about when I went to Columbia College in Chicago, because that's where I got my degree in writing and producing for television. He was asking me about what are the parallels? I'm like, oh, it's all tied together. It's the same industry. I mean, whether you want it to be or not, it's the entertainment industry. We're doing the same thing. There are often days where I'm like, I've got to put this show together. I've got to figure out the marketing, the promo. I've got to get a photographer. I've got to get a videographer. I've got to make sure the sound engineer is taken care of. Oh, and we need to bring in an opener or this, that. There are a lot of skill sets that are involved in that. And that is the same thing as being a producer in television, in my perspective. In other words, hey, I wear a lot of different hats, and I'm getting things done. That's what a producer, to me, that's what a producer does in television. And so, anyways, I think that that's really interesting, but I still, my whole point is that, I think everybody's out there looking for help. No matter what level you're on, you're looking for help because you're not ever satisfied or finished. You want to get to that goal line, and I see people beyond where I'm at, where I think, man, they've got it figured out. And I guarantee if you ask them, they're like, I'm just trying to figure it out. Right? Don't you see that sometimes?
Yeah. I sometimes think we figured it out.
I actually do think that sometimes, yeah.
But I also think the exact opposite.
I think that sometimes, and then I quickly, my brain says, shut up.
What can you do better or whatever?
Right.
But I was talking to Matty Monk, and he was like, I'm just done, like, looking for, like, stardom and all that stuff.
Oh, yeah. No, we're not even talking about that.
Right. But I was just kind of saying, like, you know, I'm at the farmer's market in Dublin. It's 8 in the morning, 9 in the morning. I'm lugging all my stuff in. I got, you got 200, 300, whatever pounds of equipment. But that's the hard part. The huffing the gear, all that. No one wants to do that. Then you play for 3 hours, which is the part you want to do. Then you tear it down and you go home. And like, if you extrapolate that onto like a touring level, you're paying a bus driver $500 a day for gas. You're paying him for a 4-star hotel. It's all the same stuff.
Correct.
Except I'm not physically loading the gear. You're paying a guy to do that. You're paying the thing to do that. You're going to town. You're promoting. It's all the same thing.
Right.
There's way more risk, and there's way less having a life. So you don't sleep in your own bed. You don't do any of that stuff. So
yeah,
I just look at it logically like that, and it's not like I don't want to go on tour. I don't want to.
No.
I'm not saying I don't want to do those things.
But I think we're realistic about what touring is here, and this is the problem when I think, and I don't know what the word. There needs to be a word for this, but there are certain things, ideations people have in the music business, inside the music business, and outside of the music business, looking at the music business that people have. In other words, phrases and sayings like going on tour.
Right.
Phrases and sayings like make it.
Yeah. Fame, stardom, rock star,
all
these things.
Right. Like these are like, there's so many tropes and things like that I think every musician experiences. I think the reality is, and this is what I try to tell people. I told this young man, well, not young man, but around our age last night, I said, what does it mean to you to make it? What is your goal? What is your creative vision? Have you created it? Yeah. And have you paved that path for yourself in a way that you feel proud of and you feel you've achieved, or are achieving or continuing to create and carve out, I think that's a hard picture for people to see, because I think, and I'm not talking about young, I'm not talking about creatives that are, hey, I love making music. That's enough for me. Or, I mean, financially, from a financial aspect, they're not making it a living for themselves. And even those people have goals and dreams and things like that. I'm not taking that away. I'm talking about from the working musician that makes their living in maybe singing or writing songs or playing live for a living. You have to pave out that path for yourself, because, I mean, I have surely been caught up in projects and bands that are solely focused on serving a customer regurgitated product. In other words, you are there to literally give them the McDonald's Big Mac. You're not there to create a handcrafted burger that you cooked for them, that they're, I don't know, that's a food metaphor, but you can extrapolate that however you want. But in other words, what is it that you, as an artist, makes you unique and that you have to serve somebody? What is it? What is that? And then protect the hell out of that thing. Make sure that you don't let that ever become, oh man, I'm burnt out. Oh man, I'm kind of, I don't have any feelings anymore. Oh man, it's not.
Right.
Because that's very easy to do. And for me, it was playing in cover bands that I just, for weddings and things, that I just was like, this is not enjoyable. I don't want to spend 12 hours of my Saturday or whatever.
Or you
focusing on that.
Figure out what that is, what it's for, and use it for your vision.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. This is money. I'm going to save this money to build the thing.
Certainly. That is the other side. And I mentioned that. I said, that's the other thing. Like, it doesn't mean you can't have gigs that, hey, this person offered me $1,000 to do this thing. Is it worth the sacrifice of what? What is the sacrifice? You're taking a day away from what you would be doing to do this thing. Is that worth it? Yep. Is it worth it to learn these songs if you have to learn them or play these songs?
It's time.
You have to. Everybody has their different value of whether that's okay or not.
could be soul sucking.
And it's not wrong. If your answer is, all that, I want to do 50 weddings a year, or I want to play 60 corporate events, or I want to, whatever the insert thing there. If that's what you want to do, and that is a version of success for you, nobody is going to be like, judge you on that. Because, the thing is, like,
they will be, but it doesn't matter.
The right people are not going to be judgmental. The people that understand this thing. Which is like, we all have to make a living, and there are only so many gigs at Madison Square Garden I can play every year, right? It's like
we
7.
Play there a lot.
I can't sell it out more than 7 times. In a row, obviously.
Right.
Goes without saying. Then I have to go to the Boston Garden. It's hard, man. Mm-hmm. It's hard to have that really tour bus. It's bumping when you're sleeping back there, and the driver's going fast to get there. It's hard. Mm-hmm. That's a hard living. Anyways.
Yeah.
But no, I think that it's interesting to see people struggle. Not interesting. You know what I'm saying?
It's fascinating.
I'm empathetic with people that are struggling with their careers, because I feel like my biggest problem these days is finding a place to feel balanced about the good and then the mundane. So, so we have a good show at a venue we played at Woodlands a few weeks ago, and the crowd was okay. It wasn't, the crowd that was there was great. We didn't have a huge crowd. Mm-hmm. It was, and so that's one of those humbling experiences where you're like, man, we played great. We had great, really cool crowd of people that
I think for
we knew.
What was it, a Wednesday?
It was Thursday, yeah.
Actually,
it was great.
Crowd, good crowd.
It was a good crowd. Like, it was.
The room's big.
I'm not diminishing it.
It's a large room.
Yes. But for all that being said, it's like feeling good about what you did and what people receive from that. And then, the next day, maybe playing in a restaurant or whatever, where maybe nobody's listening, can be a little jarring. And also, for me, like, my focus is to get more into places, whatever type of places they are, that people are listening. That's the point, where they are embracing the sound. Because I think now I'm at a place where I have those choices. And 5-10 years ago, I did not have as many choices when it came to that, But, I mean, we both have those choices. Like, we're both now, and it's hard to see yourself, but I think we're both now at a point where it's like, oh, we can say no to gigs because we know there'll be other opportunity. And I mean that, in a good way, not like we're just not slaves to the gig. And we always used to talk about that somewhat.
For the most part, yeah.
For the most part, it's not 100%, but
right now I'm just trying to make some money.
Yeah. Well, but that's okay too.
Because the winter was hard for me.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, we're always coming out of the winter that way. It's like where the savings get saved up and then they get depleted during pretty much October to pretty much April, honestly, is now off season in Ohio.
I talked to like Jeff Bass about it. He was like, "Yeah, I'm doing golf lessons, and not have to."
I think that's great.
I think that's really smart. And I'm gonna probably teach at CSAD this summer.
Oh, great!
Which I don't really want to teach in the summer, but I have to.
What are you gonna teach?
Take what I can get. I think it's like summer camp for kids.
Oh, cool.
So it's like Garrison's age.
I don't think there's anything at all wrong with, like, the reality is, like, there's not a lot of people out there that just play music.
Right.
So, like, having other streams of income can be two things. One, it can be a good thing to do away from music to get a little variety. And two, it can allow, when you do music, to feel a little bit better because you've got your finances kind of
it makes it more special.
Supported by that, You don't
have to rely on it. But yeah, I think
it's great.
I think teaching art will be fun for me to teach kids. I went to CCD, so
yeah.
I mean, I don't think it's going to be great money, but
that's okay.
But it'll be an opportunity, and then maybe I like this or whatever.
Yeah, maybe they'll invite you back to be the graduation speaker.
Right. Well, they said
you too can succeed, children.
Right. They have adjunct things too, jobs too.
Yeah.
So that could be a thing
for
too.
Sure.
I like teaching, so
yeah, it's fun. We got the teaching thing in our DNA with our parents.
Our blood.
Yep. Well, let's. What else we got talking about?
I got another thing.
All right, here we go.
I'm obsessed with Naked and Afraid.
Yeah, I know you are.
Have you watched it?
I've watched a lot of it. Yeah.
Oh, okay. You have.
Yeah.
pretty good. I figured out that it's like, this is pretty just much impossible, this show.
Impossible in what way?
I mean, they're just, like, they're on the Amazon jungle just, like, getting stung all over the body. I'm like,
this you mean
just torture.
To win it?
Well, yeah, I mean, it's just kind of like, after I'm watching, I'm like, this is just impossible. Like, they don't give him anything.
Well, have you seen Naked and Afraid XL?
Oh, God.
Because that's a whole other
What
story.
is that?
Oh, that's where they take all the winners or like the best of candidates and they put a whole bunch of groups out there.
Interesting.
And they just like kind of tribe off. It's kind of like Survivor if Survivor was more real.
Right.
Survivor's not about surviving. It's like, hey, we're going to take you to this remote place and then, here's a fun party game that it's just so stupid.
Yeah, I was thinking about that on the way here because
it's like, how can you... Survivor is the kind of show that's like, just dropping them off in the middle of nowhere. That's not going to be good enough. We got to like create, like we're talking like remote places for people to literally survive. That's not good enough, right? Because it's not dramatic enough. It's all built on.
Isn't it all built on lying and deceitful things? Like you have
most of that show. I've never really watched much more than 10 seconds of it. I feel like, but from what I gather, it seems like it's more about the.
It's the
tribal,
the human stuff. Yeah, the tribal
like,
thing.
Tribal thing and like people eliminating people and I don't know. But I don't get into that stuff. I
like they're building the huts. That's so cool.
Yeah, that kind of stuff.
On Naked and Afraid, like they have like the wood and they're chopping it and they're sewing it together with the.
There's other shows that are even better than that. There was the one Alone.
Okay, so I've heard that's good.
And then there was another one that one's very good. And there was a couple other that they had done.
But it's one person alone?
I believe it's one person alone in the wilderness has to survive for whatever. And then they did more of that where they expanded on that and they had more people where it was like, I think they did kind of group up. I mean, there's been a lot of these survivalist shows.
Right. Because the season 9, man, there's 2 people, but then they meet up with other 2 people and then they have to survive together. But here's my thing is that.
How has there been no romantic anything?
Because they're just
because it's disgusting.
Yeah. But I'm like, they need more interpersonal things because the show literally comes down to like them just really trying to figure out how to survive. And there's like no interpersonal, like they don't even show it, which is weird to me.
Yeah.
They're just like, how do we survive and not die?
Yeah.
It's not like, hey man. So the one guy, he's killing an electric eel and he's like, die motherfucker kind of thing. And the girl gets offended and she's like, hey, you got to respect the animal because like we're about to.
I know.
So he was like,
I've seen that.
He was like, oh, I'm sorry, but like I was like, oh, that's actually kind of interesting.
Yeah.
Then I realized none of the episodes have any. Some of them fight. You don't want them to like artificially fight, but you want to see how they get along.
Sure. It's got to be awkward because
if I produced it, I feel like I'd be producing it differently.
Right.
But maybe it's just the footage they get. I don't know. I'm fascinated with it.
It's interesting, that's for sure.
I like to see the huts and how they build stuff and then how they get food.
Yeah, it is very interesting. That's for sure. I've been more hooked on Star Trek Discovery lately, but that's a good show. But
who's even on that?
I forget the actress's name, but she was on Walking Dead for a long time, and she is great on that show.
She's
great
the
on that
captain.
show. Yeah, it's her, and then the guy. Pan's Labyrinth. He played Pan. He's like a physical actor.
Oh.
I think his name is like
Doug Jones.
Doug Jones. Yeah.
That's the guy. Was that the
what's
the vampire dude? Is that the vampire guy?
Yeah.
What we do in the shadows?
Yeah, Doug Jones. Yeah.
Vampire.
He's great, man.
Oh wow.
He's great on Star Trek Discovery. He's great on all of them.
Sonequa Martin Green. Sonequa.
Is it S-A or S-H?
Sonequa.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Sonequa, maybe. I'm not sure. I'm not sure how to pronounce it.
Doug Jones, okay.
But
that
she's great.
Weird looking.
He's great. She's great. The show's really cool because they get like into the future stuff. Like all the some of Star Trek nerd, just like, bad friends. But
Bobby Lee.
Like, so Next Gen was in this, I forget, maybe the 2200s. I can't remember, but all of the different Star Treks are in different like decades / millennia. So this one kind of like now we're in like the third, fourth season.
Wait, only two.
Or actually in the fifth
only
season,
2,300. That's all they were in.
Yeah,
That's not that far away.
I know,
is it?
but no, I mean no.
Yeah.
Well, I mean it's a couple. It's a couple hundred years.
Right, but still.
We're in 2024, right? Yeah, so I mean that's like
so it'd be 300
yeah,
years
it's
from
like
now.
think about there was no car 100 years ago.
That's true.
120 years ago, cars like really weren't even a.
Yeah, that's true.
So like 200 years from
It
now,
could work. It could work.
we're already doing space travel.
True.
So
okay, yeah.
advance it. So anyways, but now this season has kind of broken all these rules because it's on Paramount Plus, which I know kind of stinks, but the reality is they can do more things. There's cussing and there's more reality and stuff. So, not reality, but like how people would converse and things. But so this Star Trek Discovery, the big backstory is Sanika. I don't know how to say her name, but the captain.
Yeah.
Her brother is Spock. She grew up as Spock's sister, so she's adopted.
Oh, okay.
And so it's in that timeline.
Interesting.
However, they get jettisoned into the future.
Oh.
Like a few hundred years.
Interesting.
So it's, I'm not sure, like a couple hundred years at least. And so it's really, really cool. There's all these little things they're playing with. The first season, they played with an alternate dimension. Now they're playing with their way in the future, and they can't get back to their own timeline. Just lots of cool stuff. Lots of really cool stuff. So
did they harken back to like the next gen? Like they have.
Oh yeah, there's all kinds of references of like
Right.
Voyager and all this stuff. I mean,
watched Voyager.
They wouldn't really like harken back to next gen because they're from before that time.
Oh, right.
I think.
But I mean, like,
Yes, they're from before that time because if she's Spock's sister, next gen happened after.
they
Star
could still
Trek.
pay homage within the like universe, like to placate fans of like
Well, they might talk about
not like
some of
specifically.
them from the future when they go to the future, talking back to the past, which
Right.
was still their future.
I just mean like production styles or whatever.
Oh
like, or
yeah. All that
thematic
stuff.
you
All
know?
that stuff is like tied in.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it's great. I mean, honestly, best thing ever happened for Star Trek was Paramount Plus, and now there's like a couple offshoot. Well, they have Picard, and they have another Star
Scott
Trek show.
Bakula was on there for a little bit.
Yeah, well, that was a long time ago. That wasn't Paramount Plus,
Right.
But that was kind of the worst one, unfortunately. But
Come on, Quantum Leap.
yeah. But anyways, that's what I'm
So
into.
I want to see Shatner on there, just coming in.
Who?
Shatner.
Oh, shit.
What is all
Shatner's
of this?
90 years old. Looks great. Looks great.
Yeah, and he's like
Killing
out
it.
there.
Killing it.
Yeah, I
He
saw
went to
him.
space recently for real.
Yeah,
That was really cool.
really cool. I heard him on some podcast, and he was just. I was like, this guy is.
This guy is great.
He's interesting.
Well,
He's very open minded.
yeah, he's super cool guy. He's very. I didn't know, like, he was when the original show was on. I can't remember the one black woman that was a character on the show with the large. Yeah,
Ohora.
That's correct. Yeah,
Whatever.
Yeah, something similar to that. It was like there was a romantic situation, and he like kissed her on the show,
And he said
and it was like hugely controversial, which is hilarious to think about today.
But he
but
fought for it, right?
He fought for it, yeah.
yeah,
I was.
that's cool.
I didn't know anything about that. I mean,
I know.
what time was that? Was that the 60s?
I would assume
It must have been the
so,
60s, right?
60s,
I don't
yeah.
know. Everything looks like it's really old now. But yeah, let's see. We got a lot of stuff coming up this year, though. I'm excited about it. I'm sure you have a lot of cool stuff with Topher James, and I know you do. You have some stuff.
Nothing.
You got shows coming up.
I'm kidding. We're playing at Bridge Park, but
That's cool.
I think that's like
You're,
next
aren't
week.
you doing a couple festivals? Are you doing Arts Fest? You're doing something else too, right? You got the Grandview. Are you doing the Grandview thing?
The third year in a row would
man.
be rained out.
Did they book you or no?
No, we got rained out 2 years in a row. Sucks, but I wish. We're doing.
So we got to find a place for Topher James to be playing. Anybody out there?
No, we're doing some stuff.
Podcast land. Know anything
We're
about
doing local roots. We're doing some
Good.
terrestrial, actually, a little
Oh,
trio
good,
version in Cleveland. And,
that? So you got stuff coming up.
Yeah, just TopherJamesMusic.com.
Yeah, it's hard. I'm getting more into that place where I'm trying to create more opportunity for everything because it is hard. It's like we're now at a place where we're not just going to play whatever gig. If it, like I said, if it doesn't fulfill some part of the creative vision, it's like, I don't want to waste. there's a real big problem. And I told this guy yesterday, I was like, there's a problem if you're playing these places that don't fit into that vision, because you will start to build resentment, not only about that opportunity, but about yourself and your music. And it will creep in and you won't even know it's there until you're like, oh, what am I doing this, But we, I was talking to Pat McLaughlin about that. It's like, we used to play like all the time when we were younger with the Andy Shaw Band around Ohio and stuff. And, remember we used to play at Backstretch and Chillicothe and all these little dive bars and things. And it had some great times, but also, we're all making like $60, $70, $100 maybe. Minus also gas to get to these places
and all that,
and for 4-hour gigs, bringing in our PA and all that stuff. Yeah. So it was a grind, but we also like cut our teeth doing that, and at the time that did fit what we're doing. But we really found our place now where we're like, we can be more selective. It's no big deal. Let's record music. Let's write music. Let's just work on our craft. Shaw Brothers too,
Yeah.
And so
but it's nice to play. It
is nice to play, and that I'm feeling that way now, where I'm like, I want to get back out there, and I want to play at I think Edison is a great spot. I hope they do bring bands back in there, because I've had a lot of people request us there, and just trying to find some more of these breweries where there's some people our age that like music, and it's a little bit of an easier sell. Dankhouse is doing music the best of any place I've seen. So. I ran sound for Joey there a couple weeks ago. It was really great. Joey Harcum, and talking about somebody that just is somebody to look up to, because he's just a really good dude, really really good dude. He's got a wife and a kid, and another kid on the way, and they live in Baltimore, and but he's got a business model that is he's got great songs, great music, great voice. And then he comes early, sets up his merch, and sits at the merch table while there's a line of, 50, 60 people. He talks to every single person, gets photos, talks to them, has conversation. It's just impressive. It's like, it's not that there's, there are some artists that won't do that. They won't sit at the merch booth, or they won't engage with their fans in that way. And I'm no judgment. I'm just saying, man, I'm impressed by that, because it's like, that's just a great dude. It's kind of like already what we're trying to kind of be, which is engaged with our fans, engaged with our friends and our fans that come out and support us. 'Cause that will create a community that you can really feel proud about. I feel like,